Hey guys, welcome back. So we have created the first part of our calculator, which honestly is not too much. So now let's go continue and create the actual design and structure of our calculator app. So the first thing we're going to need to do is head over to our terminal, and we're going to have to install one more dependency. And that is going to be Kivy, but not just regular Kivy, but Kivy MD, which means it's a bit more modernized. So all we're going to do is pip install Kivy MD like this, and now we're going to be installing the new modernized version of Kivy. And now we are all set pretty much. Now next thing is we need our resources, such as our buttons and other types of files that are going to go make up our calculator app. Because realistically, if you're going to be building an entire calculator from scratch, especially using Kivy, it's going to take a while. So I do have a couple of resources that you can use, such as images and all that type of stuff on GitHub. So if you go to Silo 5000 Technify Apps right here, you can see that there should be a zip file that you can just download right here. And that link will be in the description below. So if you want, just go hit that and download that file from GitHub. Alternatively, you can also go to technify.com right here /resources, and you're going to see this page right here. Just hit download like that and get it onto your computer. So once it's on your computer, you can just go extract the zip file, and you should have a folder called Build Your First Calculator Resources. Now if you open the folder up, you should see all of these resources and utilities. So all we're going to do is we're going to get all of this, and we're just going to throw this stuff into our project folder. We're going to deal with this fitimage.py right here soon enough. Actually, we can do that right now. So go into your virtual environment, go to the library folder, go into your Python type packages, and head over to Kivy MD right here. And here, you're going to head into the utils folder, and you are going to just get this fit image right here, and you're going to throw it into that Kivy utils. So here you can see that I went to my virtual environment, then I went to my lib, then Python site packages, and I went to this Kivy MD, so do not get this mixed up with Kivy, and then I went to the utils folder and I threw my fit image in there. So now we can close all this, we can delete this folder right here, and we are officially ready to start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete all this stuff. And instead of using Kivy.app, we are actually going to use the new modernized package that I already created. So from dependencies.modern.app, import modern or MDN app actually. This is the one we want to import. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the actual MDN apps, because this is just a class right here, but we actually need the instance of the app. So we're going to do def main app like this. So this is going to be the main app we're going to be using, and then we're going to use our class right here, MDN app like so. And then we can just do this. So now that we have our app, we are going to actually, whoops, and I said def, actually I meant this to be class. And now we're going to use the build function to go create this build class right here. Instead of returning the super.build, we actually want to return our screen manager class. Because what we want to do is we want to return the manager that's going to manage all of our screens. So that's what the screen manager does. It manages all the screens so we can switch from one screen to the next screen. So now we're going to have to go create our screen manager class, and to do that, all we have to do is from kivy.uix screen manager import screen manager like so. But before we can actually use our screen manager, we have to actually create the class for it. Even though we could technically just use this class, I prefer not to because you get a lot less flexibility. So we're going to call this screen manager like this, and then we're just going to do class screen manager widget, and it's going to take the class screen manager. And all we're going to do is just pass for this. So technically it's going to be empty, but this is a way better way, or I prefer this way more than actually just using this screen manager class here. And now we can go back to our main app right here, and we are just going to go use the instance of our screen manager. So we're going to call this screen manager or screen manager instance. And we're going to do that like so, or like so, I should say. And there we go. So right now you can see that we have a yellow squiggly line saying it's not defined, which it isn't. So we're going to quickly create our screen manager instance by doing screen manager instance equals screen manager widget like this, and we have to make it be an instance of the screen manager widget, and you'll see why later on. So now I have put another section. So this is our screen widget class section. This is our main app class section. And right here now we're initializing these classes. Now the reason I'm breaking it up like this is because it's going to be a lot more cleaner. And also it's great to document your code as you're going along and organizing it. So this is what I'm doing right here. But now it's time to initialize our class. So all of these are classes right here besides this one. But now it's actually time to initialize it. So we're going to go create another class. It's going to be main app instance like this, and it's going to take the class main app. And now there are a lot of parameters we can use with this main app right here, because there's a child of this MDN app right here. And you can see all these local variables like the name, the screen manager, if the window is resizable or not, which we're going to talk about that later on, the min and max window size, device breakpoints, and so many more things like this app icon right here, which we're going to use very shortly. So let's first start off with the MDN app name. So we're going to just do MDN app name like this, and we can call this whatever, but for instance it's calculator, we're just going to call this calculator, but you can go play around and test it out for yourself. And then we're going to use the MDN screen manager, and it is going to just take the screen manager instance. So we're not going to be using the widget, and we're not going to be using the default screen manager class that Kivy provides. Instead, we're going to be using this instance right here, like so. And then if we want, we can go see what else, like window resizable. And technically, we don't want that resizable because we don't want people to resize our calculator app. So we're going to say false. Now we had to go put in the size for our app. So let's go take a look at that real quick. And we want the window size. I already have a preferred size I want to use, so I'm just going to copy and paste that real quick, 400 and 500. Now the MDN breakpoints is actually very useful and very essential, especially in these little dependencies that I have set up. Because what this essentially does is it creates breakpoints for either desktop, tablets, or mobiles. Unfortunately, right now, it's not the best. So all you essentially have to know, because we're not going to be resizing our app from desktop to tablet to mobile, so we really don't need this device breakpoints. But what we're going to do is we're still going to initialize it anyway to ensure that our app is working. So this is the code I'll be using. Desktop equals 3000. So anything that's 3000 pixels or over will be considered as desktop size. Tablet will be 726 to 2999 pixels, and mobile will be 725 pixels and whatever else is smaller. Now we're going to go look at our window position. We want this to be centered, so all I'm going to do is type in center right here. Now the next thing we're going to do is get our MDN app icon right here, which we will have, and that would be in our py-includes.default icon. So we're going to do py-includes default icon.png, and there we go. Now we're almost done, guys, so stay with me. And now we're going to do our screensaver. This doesn't actually matter, so we're going to leave this alone, and our default font size doesn't matter either, so we're going to leave that alone. So if I run this, what I should get right now, we will get nothing because I forgot we actually haven't ran our app yet. So before we can actually do anything else, we first have to run our app. And you already know how to run our app, so I'm just going to quickly do that real quick with main app instance run. And now if we run this, boom, this is what we have right here. And now there are a couple of things. The first thing is I realized that this has to be changed to main.py because we're going to have another file called calculator.py. So that would conflict and make errors. So we're going to call this main.py. Also, as you can tell, this is main and it does not say the name of our app right here, which we do actually need. Adding this line of code that says main app instance.title, which is going to be the title of our app, and we're just going to set the name to it like so. So now if we rerun our app right here, what we should get is this white screen that says calculator. This is the size of our app, you can see. If we try to resize it, we can't actually resize it, which works perfectly. And also, if you want to actually look at the icon, you can see in your bottom corner, it says this is your icon right here. So everything is working perfectly. Now, in the next couple of lessons, we're going to actually go create the design, because right now this is still kind of blank, but we do want to actually get with the design real quick. So follow me into part 2, and we're going to quickly finish this design.